So last time I recreated this orange calcite, and this is what we got. Pretty decent if I do say so myself. This time we're doing green fluorite. So let's see how I do. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be creating this set for you guys, and these almost creep me out, even though I did them like how close they look like an actual stone or crystal. I was kind of going for jade, I'm gonna be honest, but we ended up with something close to what looks like green fluorite, and I think it's amazing. So get right into it. I filed down her nails pretty low. I knew that this was going to take a minute, and so I wanted to just leave out that part. So here we are. I filed down what she had previously. She had, if you noticed, I hadn't recorded the past few of her sets. This is my mom, y'all. You know I do her nails often. And she's been getting something simple. It didn't really seem worth it. But, you know, not that she's not worth recording, but it's just a simple polish. Literally just like simple polish. Anyways, so we filed that down. And so you'll see her nails look crazy. She had one that had a chip. No, I didn't have a chip out of it, but it was lifting. So I went ahead and filed it down because it was separating. And because I don't want any air pockets or anything like that. To get any green spots for liquid, water, bacteria to get up under there. So, and then she broke one on her other hand, you'll notice, so I had to scope that out. So you'll, her nails are uneven appearing. That's what I'm trying to say, because there's product on there. There's different layers of builder gel. This actual pinky has one of the Daily Charm full cover tips on it that's grown out, so it lasted really well. It's one of the ivory ones if you're interested on how that went. It was just on that one pinky that I'm working on right now. So I was removing the cuticle with the skiver bit from Atwood Industries. It wasn't the mini, but not that there's anything wrong with it, but for those who ask, that's what it was. This right here is the round bit from Atwood Industries. And so I removed the cuticle from her nail plate. Then I'm flaking off any dead skin from her actual living skin. Did that real fast. We're getting right down to the nitty gritty. So in this set, I'm using the gel pot builder gel and the rubber base. And these are some of the colors I'm going to be using. Now, I'm going to be honest. This set took a while building up all the layers and everything. So it was very involved. These are the colors that I used, and you'll be able to tell. This is a main color that I used, and then there's one called Deep Emerald. I think I showed a little later. That's one that frequents, but I use a little bit of the other ones here and there. These two I thought I would use and I didn't, but I still want to show them because they're very cute colors from the Gel Bottle ink, just in case you're interested. I actually tried to use one in the base. I decided I didn't want any iridescence or sparkle. I know, weird, right? But I just decided I wanted to keep it real, just straight cut, whatever that means. So I'm dehydrating her nail, and then I applied a acid-free primer. And then I'm going in with the Gel Bottle rubber base. And this is to ensure great adhesion of her nails. And so this is how we're doing it. We're just polishing this on to all of her natural nail. And then we're going to go ahead and cure in the light. So that's where we're at. And really, that's where we're going to take the design from. We're getting an even base, and we're going to start from here. Okay, so this is the Deep Emerald color. It's from Madam Glam. You can use code Tabitha, get 30% off. And I added this color, Heart Attack. I use it a little bit, but really that Deep Emerald. Milk Bath, I use a little bit, but I wanted to show you it's a milky white. I use this white gel paint from Wildflowers. The Alpha oval brush, there's a link down below. The Poochie's Nails liner brush, I don't have a link for it, but if I get one, look down below. But you can just Google her website, see if it's available. So I'm starting off with creating what I like to call, with my air quotes that you can't see, my main veins. I don't know what these are technically called, but here I'm going to show you. This is an example of what I mean when I'm circling in red. These kind of, it looks like it's cracked in a way. Somebody who's like a crystal specialist will know what it's called. But that look to me is something I'm always trying to imitate when I do like stone nails, crystal nails, gem nails. If that's a characteristic of the actual stone, everything that's not something that's a part of all crystals. I'm not a crystal expert. I just know that it's not necessarily a part of it. But that's I hate to sound redundant with the same word, but a characteristic of them that I really think stands out and is kind of hard to imitate, with just using one layer of white and like moving it around how we generally do marble nails, how you see me do it in the past, and probably plenty of people. Nothing wrong with that. That's a beautiful look. It's created beautiful nails for all of us in the past. If you see my rose quartz nails and stuff like that. But adding this kind of, and I'm going to call it these veins that look like the stone's completely smooth, but it just looks like a crack and it goes deep. And again, excuse my ignorance, I don't know what it's technically called, and I don't even know if I know how to Google it. Ain't that something? We don't know what to Google. You're so out of the know of something. Like, yeah, I don't know what words to describe this to know what it is. Or is it just me? Anyways, so I just want to emphasize and clarify for y'all what I mean when I'm doing the main veins and why I spend so much time on this. It's something, I don't think it's the most important thing, and you have to include it with every crystal work, but it's something for myself I've been trying to achieve the look of, and I feel very accomplished. I think, if I do say so myself, I kind of got it. Okay, I'm gonna just give myself that little pat and say that. And so I thought maybe y'all would like to know how I did it, and it's not anything mind-blowing. So I drew these main veins. I'm going to keep on going back to these lines and re-emphasizing them. But I drew the line, and you see I fanned it out. I just feathered it out, and then I cured it. Then I'm going back over again, the same ones, and I'm making sure that one part of the line is completely solid. You see, that makes it look like it's closer to the surface, and the rest is kind of going back. We're trying to create essentially 3D effect, and this is a sculpted nail. I know it looks crazy, and I honestly should have gained my shape. I'm so out of touch in doing nails. I'm getting back to it, but something I'll forget is shaping the nails before I do a design like this. I should have regained my shape, my coffin shape, a little bit more. You'll see in the end I filed just a smidge of the design off, but we fixed it. We'll talk about it later. So be better than me and regain your shape a little bit before you do something like this. It wasn't devastating by any means, as you can tell, but be better than me. So I'm taking some of that clear gel pot from the Gel Bottle Ink. It's a builder gel. And I'm mixing that lighter green color, that one from the Retro Gold line. And I'm doing that to have a base of a builder gel. Essentially, those white veins really didn't add anything. They didn't add any structure, really nothing to the nail at all. So we don't even mind them. I want to start off with a harder gel and then put some other gels in it and then encapsulate with a harder gel again. So I'm mixing clear with these various colors. One of them deep emerald and the other one, I think maybe the heart attack color. But as I mentioned, I had a hard time, keeping up with showing the camera just because I was so very involved with creating this, and it took a while to do. But I know that deep emerald is a color that I really liked, and that retro, I think it's called I Want My Edamame or something like that. It was a key color. So I'm taking that lighter mix, that retro mix with that builder gel, and I'm adding a little bit of the other greens that I mixed together, those darker tones. And we're starting to add depth and character to the nail, to the stone. So we're trying to capture that, and I'm just blotting it around. And I will always emphasize this. If you watch my videos, I'll say it every time. Please look at an actual picture of what you're trying to recreate instead of trying to go from your mind. Unless you've done it a million times and you're familiar, go with an actual picture and pull out different characteristics of that and try to recreate that. So like look at, maybe a little section, be like, okay, there's 2 veins going at a diagonal that has a big, dark green spot here, medium green here, blah, 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 I'm trying to say. And go from there until you feel like you get it down. You can kind of create that randomness and those characteristics from memory. But until you're absolutely super familiar, please look at a picture. That's what I'd recommend. So I'm just doing many and plenty of mixtures over here, you guys. I'm going for like different tones and different opacity too. So the color I mixed up right here is not as translucent as the other colors. And I'm just adding different tones of these greens, trying to get what I have in my head. So I want some sheer colors, some kind of translucent colors, some more opaque colors, different tones. That's what I'm going for. So I'm just mixing that, and I'm just using the back of a polygel brush that has the flat part that you're supposed to scrape it off with. So I know that's not the best thing, but that's what I was doing. And so I did the light green with the random dark green spots, cured that in the light. Like I said, I'm going to keep going back to these main veins, and I'm doing that same technique. And then I'm adding little extra splotches of white. You'll see me go in and do that just to add more characteristic. I'm just tapping some in some random areas, just again to add character, texture, irregularities. So you'll also see on this one, I moved the line over a little bit. I move it off of what it originally was a little bit. And we're talking about in terms of like millimeters, half of a millimeter. So I move it wherever the solid part of the line is, I move it a little bit past that. And that's just going to create that depth more so. And again, we're talking about a very minuscule amount, but every time I do it, I want to move it just a little more from the solid part, if that makes sense. So you see I just moved these a little to the left because they're faded out to the right, as you can see. Hope that makes sense. So the next time I do it, I'll move it even a little bit tiny more to the left, and this is going to create that depth, that main vein. Again, I keep saying that. I don't even know if it's a real term, but y'all know what I mean. That kind of cracked look. I'm sorry for being repetitive, but I mean, this process kind of is, honestly. I'm just going to be adding different layers of character to the stone. This time I retraced my main veins, cured it, and then I'm going in with that translucent deep emerald green I mixed with clear. And I just mix it with clear top coat. That's it. And then I'm adding some of that that third color I mixed after, that more opaque kind of color with that different tones of green. I want to get that in just in random spots. And then I am going to, again, I'm just taking the color, and you see how I added it on, I just kind of blended it out. Again, I mean, it's nothing too technical. When you see it done, it doesn't look like there's any crazy skill that's needed for this. There's not. I don't feel like there is. So I would really love for you guys to try to recreate these. I know that some of you are going to be, oh, I'm intimidated, I don't think I can. Now, yes, you can. Don't even say that. And for those who know you can, shout out to you. Y'all get out there and you try, okay? I don't want to hear it. Try and do it. You can do it. It's nothing too difficult. All right. We're back. So I'm just doing that same thing. I'm painting that sheer emerald color. Oh, also, you guys, try this with different colors, of course. I'm gonna, oh, I didn't even tell you guys. I'm using a white, just regular nail polish. Just regular nail polish that's white. And I'm taking acetone and dispersing the white. You can see I'm just moving around. And this is going to add just fine detail, just little vein work and shadows and just more character to it. So you can see I'm moving it around. I don't want nothing too bold with this to stand out. I'm not looking for a lot of it, but I'm looking for it to create, like I said, just those fine details. So, and this is usually what I would do before I've, practiced and feel like I've tried to refine my marbles. Would you call this a marble? It's really a crystal recreate. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it, okay? So I used to just use like the white over a green or a pink or something like that, move it around and make these my main kind of veins, and that's it. Boom. That's my rose quartz now. No. We're on to the next level now. We are. So I do want to recreate the rose quartz. I really do. You guys, if you want me to recreate the rose quartz, put a rose in the comment box. Because if you haven't seen my first one, see it. It's a beautiful nail. And if you like that, some people, that might be their preference. This is a more elaborate design. And I want to tell you, if you're a nail technician and you're charging for this, please charge for this. Please charge. Like, to the point of like $15-$20 a nail charge for this. On top of whatever your fill is or your base is. I ain't even joking. If you're going to go with this detail, and if you do it, practice it, and make sure you got it good and right. Don't just off top just watch this video and like, yeah, now I charge $20 a nail for this. Okay? No. Get it, perfect it, and then charge for this. This takes time. It looks fast and good and fun in this very edited down video. Charge for it. So I put that white nail polish, disperse that out, and I'm taking a that lighter Vetro color. I mixed that with a little clear, made that sheer, and I'm polishing it over, and I'm adding more of that deep emerald mix to the nail. And I, of course, that color is mixed with a little bit of clear, but I want you to know that specific color from Madam Glam, that deep emerald, is a little bit of a more sheer color in general. So you can kind of, if you want to add a lot of depth or make it a little bit darker, you could not mix it and kind of blend it out. And so I'm just adding more depth, and you see these layers start to build up, and you'll be like, oh, you're covering a lot of it up. It takes a lot to add that depth to get the character. So if you want to stop at any point, it looks good to you, go ahead. But we have a mission, we have an assignment, and we're trying to get it done. Okay? We're trying to get all A's here. I'm an all A student, okay? It's just me. So, and then I want to say, make each nail different. Don't make the pattern the same. Don't make the color distribution the same. Nothing. So I'm just going over the nail with a mixture of one of those other greens. It was another sheer color, and I'm sorry. But this doesn't have to be exactly like this in this order, but you see the style in which I'm layering it. And I'm curing in between all these layers. And then what I'm doing now is I'm taking that darker green and removing it off of my main veins, if that makes sense. It's going to add a shadow behind it. So I put it on there. You see I'm wiping it off that main vein. And you're going to see the impact of that a little bit later. And so that's really a key component besides layering those main veins over and over. Add a little bit of a shadow behind some of them, and it's going to bring it forward because we added depth right beside it, behind it. So after I do that, cured it, we have all these different layers going on. And then I'm adding that minuscule little cracking type effect crystals can have. Now, I want to say this element I really like in some of the nails. It comes across, it reads a little better than others. What I did is I took that white from Wildflower's nails and I mixed a little bit of that emerald green with it because I didn't want it to be a super stark white. And I am taking this fine brush and I'm just drawing haphazard and random lines. And like I just said, it comes across more realistic and believable in some nails than the others. And I was really looking at it. I've been looking at it in my pictures like, oh, it makes it look real in some nails and not. I think I kind of figured it out. I think I should have gone some with smaller spacing and some with larger spacing. I think it would have come across better on all the nails. And that's a very tedious detail to add, but I think it's important. And I would take what I've learned from it into account when you do it. But definitely try to add just a little bit of actually drawing it. Keep it very light. Don't make the lines thick or anything. So I wiped my little palette. And I'm using the Gel Bottle Ink Builder in a Bottle gel. And mixing that with that deep emerald and... what is that other color, y'all? I cannot remember, but you've seen it in the beginning. A color that looks like it. To make another type of translucent color, and I'm going over it because I wanted to tame down that cracking effect that I just drew. Now, I just wanted to set it a little bit deeper in the nail to kind of help camouflage it, not because I wanted it to go away. I thought that would help with the effect and make it look more realistic. And it didn't actually need to be that builder gel in a bottle. I could have mixed it with clear top coat, but I was about to encapsulate with it and it was right there, so I just used it. So now I'm going back in. Of course, what am I here to do? I'm here to bring out these main veins. So doing that same technique I've been using time and time again. What is this, our fifth time going over them? It's just fine. And I moved it over ever so slightly again to add that depth. So we're just tracing back over it and fanning it out. And I'm using that alpha brush. And I am actually using it dry. And you see I wiped the nail before I got to this part. I didn't like how I tried it off camera with the sticky layer, dispersion layer. And I didn't like how it blended out. So I wanted to make sure I wiped it off so I didn't have that tacky layer. I wiped it off with alcohol. And I felt like it allowed me to complete this step better with a better result. Okay, so yeah. I would recommend. But sometimes, depending on what I'm doing, sometimes I like the tacky layer and what it can do for me. So, depending on what you're doing, you may find another way to do this. Again, this doesn't have to be in this exact order. This is what my mind said would be the best way to do it. And that's the way I did it. You may feel a different way about it and a different way to achieve this look. By all means, do it. Okay? Art is just inspiration. So I took blossoming gel, and there's many and plenty out there, and I'm tracing over my main veins. I'm adding just some little extra lines, and I actually wasn't sure if I wanted to add this. At first, I was just kind of doing it to see how I felt. Was this a necessary step? Did this add to the nail? Did it take away from it? And I ended up liking it. And I added some bold spots of the white in some areas. And the longer you let, because you want to work right on top of the blossom gel while it's wet. That's how it works. The longer you let it sit, the more it'll work and disperse color out. So in some areas, I added little splotches of white just for it to disperse a little bit and create more character. So just know the longer you let the color sit in blossom gel, the more it'll disperse. So you may want it to not disperse so much and go ahead and cure it. When you cure it, it locks it in. So if it's too dispersed, you may want to go back over it or wipe it off and do it again and cure it in a little bit of a quicker time. If it's not dispersed enough, let it sit a little more before you cure it. So this is what I had so far. And I just wanted to compare it with the other hand because I hadn't done it yet, just to see if I liked it. Like I said, I wasn't even sure if I liked it. And so I compared it and I decided that I liked it. So I kept it. Yeah, that was that story. So I went ahead and did the other hand, of course. And now I am encapsulating my design. I felt like I had it where I wanted it. We were many hours in, many layers in. You guys seen all the layers. I didn't take out any layer, except very early on I tried one of those iridescent, opalescent type colors from the gel bottle ink. I put it on there, I left it, but you couldn't even really tell. Like I said, I decided to ditch that. I didn't want that for some reason. But I do want to try some future ones with it. Those, somebody told me it's called like the inclusions or whatever. So I do want to try it, but I decided just to leave it out in this set. I liked how it looked and felt. I wanted it to look super realistic. So I am encapsulating the nail with builder gel. I'm using that gel from the gel bottle ink. The gel pot is clear builder gel. And I am putting on a slip layer. I'm polishing a slip layer on the nail. And while it's wet, picking up a bigger bead of gel and just walking it down the nail. So you see me, I'm applying a slip layer. And this kind of tells the bigger bead of gel where to go, what to do, who's cool, who isn't. That's really what it's for. I've tried to describe it so many ways. A lot of y'all say it makes sense. It just helps, like I said, it just helps. The first layer, that slip layer tells the big layer, where the party's at. And it helps it from going into areas it doesn't need to go. And it helps it move easier. It's a slip layer. It helps it slip down the nail easier. Better. So I shaped the nail off of camera. I know, I'm sorry. I generally always do, as mentioned many times before. It's hard to capture on camera because I turn my client's hand around the other way with like the back of their hand facing towards me and their nails pointing to the sky. That's how I file and shape the nails. It's hard to capture. So I'm using a ceramic smooth top bit and it's in a fine grit. I don't even know where I got this from, to be very honest. I don't think it was from Atwood. I don't think they even sell them. So I'm sorry, but you can get them. You can get them on so many different places. And this is where I said, okay, so early on, I'm going to tell you this. Early on, I was telling my mom, what do you want? Gold, because I thought the green would go beautiful with gold, but she doesn't really like gold. But she was like, you know what, if it's gonna make the look that you're going for, she's so sweet. If it's gonna, bring your vision to life, essentially, she's like, let's go ahead and do it. And I told her, it wouldn't be much, even if I did do it, just a little accent. And so she asked me a couple times, she's like, so have you decided about the gold? I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do it. We'll see. And so I was like, what's actually going to be, because I realized at some point, like, man, I didn't regain my shape. But I told y'all early on, I didn't regain my shape. So when I go into file and shape, there's a chance that I might file off some of the design off the edge. Because I told her that if I added the gold, like I said, it'd be a small amount. And I only wanted to do the rim around the nail. Nothing through the center. I didn't want to take away from any of the detail of the design through the center of the nail. It would just be the very edge and outline. So with that being said, because I filed a little bit of my design off on some of the edges of the nails, that was basically the deciding factor in me doing the gold. So I used the crosscut bit after I used that smooth top bit just to make the cuticle area more flush. And I use that in place of using a hand buffer. I do not like hand buffers, not for what traditionally people use hand buffers for. So yeah, I use the crosscut bit for that. And then I dust it off the nail and we're here. So I used Protein Bond from Young Nails. And I use that one. It kind of adds a where I can see the nail, because I'm like, man, when and where did I file off the design? And then it's tacky, and sometimes foil will stick to it. It will, because it leaves a tacky layer. It was frustrating me. Wasn't worth it. So I'm using a foil gel, and Daily Charm makes a great foil gel, and so do many other brands. So that's what I'm using. And you'll see the areas, like I said, where the design is missing, just on the very, very edges and side. So I use that foil gel and I go over it, cure it in the light the time that it needs to. And I'm using this gold leaf. And honestly, I couldn't tell you where this gold leaf came from, but you could probably, I'll see if I can put on my Amazon store down below. But there's many and plenty of places you can get this from as well. It's just a gold leaf. It's not foil. I know I use foil gel, but it provides the tackiness that I was looking for to get this on here. And as stated, I'm just going at the very edge, and you'll see that this kind of goes and gets everywhere. I'm going to remove it because I was dead serious. You might think, oh, it was cute to add a little gold on the center right there or something. That's fine. Look, I worked too hard to get all these little fine lines and stuff. I was not covering up any of them. Okay? Okay. Yeah, it could be cute. That's fine. It wasn't, not me and my little lines I drew. Nope, not at all. Okay. So I'm just adding this gold leaf again. And then there's some nails that didn't have the design filed off, but I just wanted to make it consistent and just add a little bit of gold to each nail. So at this point, I'm filing off any excess, and I'm filing off any gold leaf that's on the front or the surface of my nail that's in that open space or that went too far out. Again, y'all, I was serious. You're not fixing to, nope. So I'm just removing any little gold leafies, and I'm filing it off if it went too far on the surface, if that makes sense. Then I'm also filing off the free edge of the nail, just so I'm able to top coat easier. And I want to tell you, I don't think I showed it, but I did top coat twice. I top coated, regained my shape back, and top coated again, just to make sure that gold leaf is sealed in and smooth. It had a little texture to it. So I top coated. If there was texture, I kind of buffed it a little bit with a file to smooth it out. And I top coated again. I'm just making sure that's nice and sealed in. And I want to be cautious of my free edge. I don't want to lose my shape. So please keep the top coat thin and friendly at the free edge. We do want to make sure it's there. We want to cap that gold to make sure it lasts, but we don't want to lose our beautiful, beautiful shape. And I go in with a cuticle like cleaner tool right there. You'll see me, I'm removing any of the foil leaf that kind of went wild and getting that off. And as mentioned, I don't think I show it, but off camera, once this is cured, I file it, and I do file the free edge just a little bit to regain my shape. I want this to look nice and clean and like a stone. And I really think, y'all, again, not to toot my own horn, but these almost kind of freak me out in a weird way, how kind of realistic they are. Or is it just me? And it's not because I did them, okay? Y'all, look at them. Right? Okay, thumbs up right now. Thumbs up. Then leave a rose, or if you want to see rose quartz done, like in the more realistic style, or tell me any other recommendations. I want to keep this going and just challenge myself to recreate different stones. And they don't have to be like this vibe, like different kind of textures and characteristics. I would like to try it. So don't forget to subscribe, turn your alerts on and your notifications for your app, for your YouTube app. It's not going to tell you if you don't want it to tell you. So you want to know when I'm coming back, turn on your notifications for YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, because I'm taking clients again. I'm going to have more content for you guys, coming back more regularly. And I really thank you guys for watching. And just, yeah, I appreciate y'all. All right, bye.